Put that coffee down. Coffee's for closers only.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
Hey.
What's up?
Good morning. How we doing?
Good. I think. I think we're all somewhere. Dave, you're not at home? It doesn't look like you're at home, right?
I don't think he is.
I can't get my Bluetooth to work, guys, but you guys can hear me, right?
Yep, we sure can.
All right, cool, man. Now I'm in Omaha. I'm actually in Omaha to speak at the Omaha RIA this evening.
Oh, nice.
Talk a little bit about Burr Method, man.
Good.
Yeah.
Check
Very
your
cool.
text, Dave, as well. I just sent you a text. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm traveling. I'm in California. I'm in near Don. Don's not in California.
Yeah,
Where are you,
I'm
Don?
in Charlotte. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah.
Charlotte, North Carolina. Okay. That's interesting. What are you doing there, bro?
We have a 3-day. We're doing a 3-day immersion. We've been doing these immersions, and it's been really, really cool. Very small, intimate group, and we take deep dives into businesses and just kind of tear down the walls and figure out what's broken and give the tools to do what they need to do and leave them packing with the arsenal for success.
That is what is up, man. I almost missed today, and Matt Smith didn't. He is here. He is always here. I love this guy, man. He's the best. Matt, thanks for coming and attending and being so loyal, man. We love having you.
Absolutely. Yes, we do. Yeah, I think it was a crazy a week for us all because I was traveling. I'm like, I don't know if I can be on. Obviously, you are, David. I knew Don was. So when Don told me a few days ago he was traveling Wednesday, I was like, I got to be there because and then we're all here. We all made it. You had a smooth flight in, Don, right? This is to get to where
I did not. So, we're hopefully for this show, this is a good show for people to watch because we are all on obviously internet that is not our normal internet. So, but no, I got a message yesterday about maybe 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning that my flight had been canceled for today. And so, of course, it's my event. I have to be here. I can't just punt it because it's somebody else's event. I have to be here. So I got on the phone and tried to figure out what I needed to do. And all the flights that got me in today got me way too late. And so I ended up doing what I didn't want to do, which is fly in yesterday, but with an extremely long layover. So I sat in Phoenix for 6 hours and just got some work done and got on my second flight about 12:30 last night, Phoenix time, and arrived here at 6 a.m. and then crashed and got a few hours sleep. That is the commitment we have, right?
Holy cow.
to make sure we show up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to do it. Does your event start today?
No, my event starts tomorrow, but I didn't want anything to go wrong with the flights for today, and I wanted to make sure I was in here in time to handle any problems that came up. The team here, everybody involved, Rita, who does a wonderful job doing our events and stuff, and doing some great things with our company. It's already got most of everything set up, so I probably really didn't need to be here this morning, but it's always you want to make sure nothing else goes wrong with everything. So
awesome.
I'm here. I'm going to enjoy Charlotte for the day and then drop some knowledge tomorrow.
Nice. That's good. And Dave, you've got some big news for all of us. We know the audience. I'm excited for you.
I launched on the Wholesaling Inc. podcast, and I'm a coach over there with the Wholesaling Inc. team now, so I'm super pumped. We had 2 podcasts drop this week on what is today, Wednesday? So yeah, Monday and Tuesday, and then another one, I believe it was either over the weekend or late last week. And just all things Burr Method, guys, buying rentals and ideally teaching people how to do it with little to none of their own money, using the Burr Method. But really, even for those who are okay leaving money in and they just want to park cash, or they want to take advantage of the tax benefits, or they want to create passive income, or they just want to use leverage to get themselves into a larger type of investment. And at the end of the day, it's all about owning assets. And that's really what my goal is to just help as many people as I can. And love doing the podcast. I always have a lot of fun on the podcast, just like this here today with you guys, just getting to talk real estate and strategy and all those types of good things. But I'm really, really excited to be with the Wholesale and Ink team and be able to, help all of their viewers and listeners, as well as build this new coaching business based around the Burr method. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So
yeah, I'm excited.
So if people want to know, like, obviously you're doing this, how do they get there? If you got a link or something, they can kind of check it out.
So if you're interested or you want to learn more, wholesalinginc.com/rentals is the go-to domain at this point. I have like 20 domains and they basically all just point there. So instead of giving a bunch of random nonsense, wholesalinginc.com/rentals is the easiest to remember. And they can go there. They can learn more about the program. They can learn a little bit more about me. And if they want to book a call and, talk further about how we can help them acquire their first rental property or scale to doing 10 or 15 a month like myself, we're here to help. So, yeah, very cool.
Nice. I'm excited. I think this is great for you. We've talked, I know this has been in the works a long time. So I think you're going to be a good addition to the team. The team's great. I know everyone on the team, they do a great job. And I think you were the missing link, right? You were the missing link for that knowledge. So on that. So I think it's good. It's a good move on their part as well. So I think, guys, if you're listening and you are interested in picking up rentals,
and I think it's going to be a good thing for.
Go on. We were just delayed.
My internet's
no. Yeah, you go on. You go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm excited, man. There's really not much more to say. I'm super excited. And, my passion is in owning rental properties, guys. That's the passion. It's creating passive income. It's also creating wealth. And, one of the big things that I harp on is, when you create more income, you just create more tax obligation. You create more tax liability. And let's be honest, we need income and we have to pay our bills and eat and take care of our families and even to provide a little bit of entertainment in there, right? You got to have income, but you don't necessarily need 500 grand or $1 million or $2 million worth of income. 6 figures of income is more than enough for me. And that's about as much income as I allow myself to make. Right. I kind of cap what I make. And instead, what I do is I focus my energies on creating equity, creating wealth, because that wealth isn't taxed. So, yeah, man, I'm excited, though. Thanks for bringing that up, Gavin.
No, I love it. I think it's great. So Dom, what about you? So what are you doing in these two events, this 2-day that you're doing?
So we're like I said, we're just taking a deep dive. It's like a mastermind. I mean, a lot of people don't understand what a mastermind truly is, and I think I talked about this in one of our previous calls, but the word mastermind's gotten kind of bastardized. Anybody who has a 1-day event calls it a mastermind. Anybody who has a coaching program calls it a mastermind, and it's not. A mastermind really it's a community. I mean, Henry Ford had a mastermind around him. There were individuals who knew things he didn't know. Collaboration that allowed genius to happen, right? And so, true masterminds are communities, they're families, they're a group of individuals with a common goal, a common mission, and they bring their individual talents to the table to form this collective power that is a mastermind. I think the best way to say it is, two minds come together and they form a third, right? They form this intangible third, genius that wouldn't necessarily be there without the two coming together. And so this is kind of a mini version of that, because it is a one-off, our regular meeting that we have within a Circle Elite, but it gives people a taste of what it's like to be in the room with incredible people. That's obviously one reason we like to do it, because people need to understand what it's like to have a community. You guys are part of my community, and we talk offline about personal stuff. We talk offline about business stuff, and there's a lot of power in that. Knowing that people with a common goal, fighting a common battle, going through the same hells we go through on a daily basis, have our back. So I want people to understand what that is. But also, it's a small group, and it's an opportunity for, like I said, for us to tear down the businesses and find out what the true needs are and answer questions, instill confidence, give direction, and really impact people in a way that you can't be impacted when somebody's preaching and teaching from a stage for 3 days. This isn't that. This This is very purposeful. Like, what are your needs? How do we solve them? These are the tools. It's not like we're getting up on stage and lecturing for 3 days. So it's very intimate. I enjoy doing them. I actually get a lot out of them. It reinforces why we do a lot of what we do. We're doing an office visit here for one of our Inner Circle Elite members. We're actually going and visiting as well, so people get to see a functioning office, and it's just really cool to do. So we'll do more of them this year, and they're a lot of fun. And just, I don't know. I get it's weird. I'm an introvert. I always talk about this. I'm an introvert, but these things charge my battery. If that makes sense. And it's cool to do. Yeah. So how about you, man? You're traveling up the coast, Gavin. I mean,
where
actually
what are
hit me.
you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Where are you and why?
Sometimes you just gotta go, you know. You just, I don't know. I just wanted to drive US 1, so I did. I left Phoenix, and I've kind of been traveling up the coast. You know, hit North San Diego, and then went to Newport Beach for a couple of days. Did Santa Monica. I'm in Monterey, and then I don't know where I'm going to go next. I was thinking working my way back over to Phoenix. I might go drop over to Vegas and down. So yeah, I don't know. Just trying to, you know, just get a bit of time away and, you know, just do a little bit of traveling. You know, it's a beautiful place a beautiful route to drive. So, yeah, just doing that while working. You know, I've just been kind of, I love the Pacific time because I can get up early, start calls at 7. You know, I can be done by 11. That's kind of what I've done most days. The last couple of days is just get up, knock the calls out, done by 11. And then have the day just to kind of chill out and sightsee, you know. And I don't have that on Eastern time normally. Like on the East Coast, because it's 3 hours different, I can be done by noon here and get everything that I needed to get done, and then kind of enjoy life a little more in the evening or afternoon. So kind of that's what I've got going on, but still working, still doing my thing. So yeah, that's what I have happening. And I think, you know, back to Don's point about, you know, having a mastermind as well, I just want to say is that when you surround yourself with the right people, it's also when things are going well and also not well, right? You get both sides of it, and everyone thinks it's when you climb in and you're on the top, right? It's when you're on the top, that's where everyone thinks a mastermind is. But when you actually get in there, it's when things aren't going well that you got to get dragged back up to the top. And I think that's why everyone listening right now should be looking, you know, about who they're hanging out with, right? You're only as successful as the 5 closest people around you. You've probably heard that phrase, and it's so true. So on any level, you know, you have to surround yourself with, you know, with winners, good mindsets, and people that are, you know, just real with you, really, because there's so much BS in our business. It's just insane. I just can't handle it sometimes. You know, everyone's doing a lot of nothing, and it's a social media life, right? Unfortunately, that we live in, and until you get to really know people, then you really know who's doing what and who the players are and who the talkers are. And I'm not, again, mentioning any names, but that's what is in our industry, unfortunately. So getting a mastermind and allowing the mastermind leader to control that, right? Decide who stays, who goes, and then create a core group of people that are all there for the right reasons.
Agreed. 100%.
I can't agree 100. Yeah, I can't agree more, man. You nailed it. We do live in a social media world these days, don't we? It's wild, man.
We do. Yeah. And I think that tempers people from asking for help when they need help, because everybody sees the highlight reel. That's one of the things I want to stress. If you are part of a mastermind community, if you are part of a coaching program, I think it's important. All of our instinct is to duck our head in the sand when we're struggling in our business and or struggling personally. And you shouldn't. Like, you should be reaching out to your community. You should be reaching out and getting advice. You should be transparent. You know, I've been on a few calls in the last week where I've been transparent about a few things in my business. Other people have been transparent about a few things in their business. You know, Gavin, you and I have had some calls about some things going on in your life, and that you know, that's when you really need that community. You're right. It's not just when you can pound your chest. It's when the chips are on the table and you're down a few stacks, and you need some advice on what that, you know, do I hit or do I stay, right? You need some advice because you're emotionally impacted. You're emotionally invested in that. You may not be making decisions. And that's when that community or that coach or mentor is most important. So I love this conversation. Anyway.
No, absolutely. Chris Jefferson, he's been in our show, and he said he posted something on Facebook. I think it was yesterday. He said, I just looked it up again. He said, "Is real estate the only business where everyone thinks you've got more money than you actually have?" Right? And it's so true, but it's social media, right? It doesn't matter. Like us on this stage, like people create these things that aren't real, right? And it might not be coming from us, but they just think you're just like, you got millions in the bank and you just live in the dream. And I think that's what comes from, again, that social media thing. And it's just not reality. You don't see the work that goes in. I think one of the most frustrating things that I speak to my clients about all the time is when people say, and even when they do it, like if you're going to say, hey, I just did a deal of 20 grand or 30 or 10 or whatever, we need to know how you did it. What happened? How did you get the deal? What list was it? How long did it take?
Yeah, how long did it take?
That is going to be.
Didn't just fall in your lap on Tuesday and you got paid on Friday.
Did you spend 50 grand to make the 20 grand?
20, exactly, right?
Yeah.
And that's the stuff that's important, right? And I make them say, and that's what you don't get on social media. We go, oh, just did a 100 grand deal. Cool. How did you do it? How much money did it take? How long?
Well, the best ones are the ones that post, I just did a 100 grand deal. And I don't want to get on a social media bashing tour.
No, for sure.
They say, I just did a 100 grand deal. They fail to tell you they've got it contracted and not assigned, or contracted and assigned but not closed. And then you never hear whether or not it closed.
Yeah.
So, I just closed a 100 grand deal Friday. I can show you that. I'll pull the HUD out and show it. So, but that's the HUD's what's important. It's not the fact that you got the contract. It's not the fact you got the contract and the buyer. It's the damn thing closed escrow and did you get the check. Yep. So that's what you don't always see is people get on there and they get excited and they want to share. And then when shit hits the fan on a deal and it falls apart, they don't come back to the table and say it didn't work out. And I think transparency is so much important. The struggles, that's one of the reasons why I share about losing everything in 2008, is the struggles are what really shapes you. And those are the most important things when it comes to, really encouraging people to do this business, because everybody is going to look at that highlight reel and then have a door slammed in their face and stop. They're going to have a seller reject them and they're never going to cold call again. Or they're going to have, a contract not work out and maybe take their tail between their legs. And I think that transparency, more, and there's a handful of people that have been really, really raw about the stuff they've gone through to build their business, or a deal not working out, or even losing money on a deal. And those are the posts. If you see those posts, stop and read those posts, because the lessons you take away from those are the most impactful for your business, for real. So, Dave, my friend, hopefully I'm not talking out of turn, but we had many conversations early on in our relationship where you were like, I got no cash, because you were building your momentum, right? You're building your momentum, but it got you to a good spot. And the sacrifices you had to make to get there. I don't know if you've been as transparent about that publicly or not, but it's what it took, what you gave up, what you set aside to make what you built happen, I think is really, really important, because it's not just you push a button and you get a list or whatever and suddenly you're a millionaire. There's sacrifice and there's lessons and there's getting kicked in the nuts more times than we want to talk about to get to a successful spot.
Yeah, no, 100%, guys. A couple things on that. So one, most people don't talk about the net. They talk about the gross. They're like, oh, I did $100,000 deal, but did you spend 40 grand to get the deal? Like 60 grand is still a good number, but like, why don't you tell us about that number versus 100 grand? So one person that I take my hat off to, I respect, I know you guys will agree. And I am ultra grateful to know him and to be a friend of his and to have him in our community because of his transparency, is Ryan Dossey. He's probably not watching this right now. I don't expect him to be, but I absolutely love that guy. And all of his social media posts are real. And he talks about wins, but he talks about losing too, and mistakes that he made, and the net versus the gross. And so if you guys are looking for somebody, the listeners, the viewers, to learn some of those lessons from, definitely check Ryan out online. He's great. But back to what you were saying with, with the sacrifice is, especially with the rental game, it's not a get rich quick game. And really real estate in general isn't, in my opinion, but the reason that I love the rentals so much, Don, like you were saying, is because I'm terrible. I don't have any of my props. I'm traveling, right? I am terrible at saving money. I don't know about you guys. I am freaking terrible at saving money. You put 20 grand in my account, it's gonna be 3 in like 4 hours. Like I'm gonna just find something to go buy. But luckily for me, I have found that I can scratch that itch.
Yeah.
By buying real estate. And even more so than that, because I'm so awful, and like I'm not even embarrassed about this. Like I am freaking terrible at saving money. But when I put the savings on autopilot by buying a rental property and renting it out and using the rent to pay the mortgage, of course, there's lots of other advantages, right? But a piece of that mortgage payment is paying that property down. So in theory, it's savings on autopilot, right? And I sold 4 houses, and none of them have closed. They're all closing next week. But all 4 of these houses, the 3 of them I've owned for 12 years, 11 years, and one of them I've owned for 7. And the reason I want to tell this story is just really quickly is because I'm terrible at saving money, right? But this is back to where I'm going with autopilot. So those 3 houses that I'm selling next week, I put down $15,000 a piece, and I had a partner on them, and he put down $15,000 a piece as well. So we each had 30 grand per property, or 45,000 each total for all 3, right? Well, over the last 10, 11 years that we've owned those properties, they've cash flowed 90 grand. So what that means is that we've each paid ourselves back the 45, or 15 times 3 that we had in these investments. So we have no money invested at the end, right? It took 10 years. And Don, you were mentioning that you got to be patient. It took 10 years to get my investment back. All right. So right now I own these 3 properties. I haven't sold them yet. Next week, hopefully. We got them sold though, but I'm into these for none of my own money at this point. It took some time, but I'm into it for none. These properties, when we bought them, were about 150 grand a piece, give or take. And over the last 10, 11 years, we've paid them down to about 85,000 a piece. So 85,000 a piece times 3 equals 255 grand. That's our debt on these 3 properties. We just sold these 3 properties for 600,000. So we're gonna gross 345K profit. Now that's gross profit, and I have a partner, so I'm gonna have to cut that in half, and I'm gonna have to pay taxes on that. But at the end of the day, those properties are gonna, put about 170 grand. That's just the 3 that I had in my pocket. Guys, I don't know about you, but I am, like I said earlier, I'm terrible at saving money. Saving 172 grand, like just putting 100 here and 1,000 there, and man, that is tough to be able to save that kind of money. But when you put it on autopilot, all of a sudden it makes it much, much easier, right? So
yeah. So what are you going to do? What are you doing? Why are you selling, and what are you going to do with the money?
Yeah, so I don't really like to sell properties. But like I had mentioned, my goal isn't really income, it's creating wealth. And one of the things that kind of align, I'm moving in different areas here, so I do apologize. But one of the things that I have really been focusing on lately is trying to pay off all of my bad debt. So I have a lot of good debt, probably $9 or $10 million that I owe the banks and different lenders right now. But it's all good debt because I have tenants that pay me more than that, right? So not only is it getting paid, but I'm making money off of that. But my personal home, my lake house, my car, I have debt on those. And I'm transparent. I got nothing to hide from you guys. I owe $240 on my primary residence. It's worth $7. I owe $300 on my lake house. It's worth $7. And I probably owe about 35 grand on my car. Not a big deal, right? But all of those combined cost me about 5 grand a month. So one of the things, so here's the thing. There's the Robert Kiyosaki philosophy. Use leverage, buy assets, have the assets pay for your liabilities. And that's what I'm doing now, right? But then you have what's the guy that's the radio host that's like, pay off all your debt. No
Oh,
debt.
Ramsey. Dave Ramsey.
Okay. Thank you. What's his name again?
Dave Ramsey.
Dave Ramsey. How would I forget that? Come on. But then you got the Dave Ramsey approach that's like, don't have any debt at all. And I'm going to be honest, I've been very skewed towards the Robert Kiyosaki approach for 15 years.
Well, you're doing Burr, aren't you? I mean,
I'm doing Burr, yeah. But I'm at the point now where all of those bad debts that I mentioned, I'm going to pay them off in the next 2 years. That's my goal, maybe sooner. So all of this money that I'm making, 170 minus maybe 40 or 50 grand in taxes, that's 130 plus another 65 or 70 from the other one that I hadn't, that I had mentioned but didn't really dive into. That's approximately 200 grand. I'm putting that towards my house, and I'd love to have my house paid off. And here's the thing: it's probably not the wisest decision or the most financial savvy decision, but reducing the $2,000 a month or $4,000 or $5,000 a month in outbound bills is just going to reduce my level of needs every month. And it's just going to increase the amount of financial freedom that I already have, as well as the time freedom. Because, guys, at the end of the day, what do we work for?
Yeah.
Do we work to live or do we live to work? I think a lot of people got that one wrong right off the bat, right? They wake up every day and their job is their life. I don't know about you. I love real estate, but I don't like working that much.
Yeah.
Like I'm traveling today. I'm having fun. Gavin, I'm going skiing next week. And I know that you are nomadic right now. You should come meet me. And Don, this is an open invite for you as well. We're going to Beaver Creek. I don't know if you're into skiing. You should come meet me though. But
where is it? Where is that?
Beaver Creek is in the Summit Valley, Colorado. It's about 2 hours west of Denver.
Okay.
But I can't imagine it's that much farther. I can't imagine it's more than 5 or 6 hours from Phoenix. I don't know. I'm guessing. But
have you ever seen a man like go like 100 miles an hour down a hill, rolling head over heels down the hill?
I've been that guy.
Trees.
Yeah,
okay. That's me. That's me every time I try to ski. So
yeah, I can't ski either.
Well, if you want
sitting in a hot tub, sounds good.
Hang out. We would love to have you. The wife and I are going out. It's open invite. But that's why we work, guys. We work so we can enjoy our lives. Life is short. I lost my dad when I was 18. I lost my mom when I was 9. And I'm not trying to go down the sad story here or anything like that. But like, my mom was younger than me when she passed. Like, I can't imagine like getting sick and dying next week or next month. Like, that's crazy, right? Life is short. It's precious. And the most important thing that we have is time, or the most invaluable, I should say. The most valuable thing is time. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to sell a couple of my rentals off just because there is equity there. There's wealth. And I'm going to pay off some of my debts. And I would love to get my nut every month. I'm guessing here. It's probably about $8,500 a month. But I think it would be really cool to get that down to like $3,000 a month.
Yeah.
You know?
I like it.
And again, there's nothing wrong to the Kiyosaki or the Dave Ramsey. It's just I kind of been in the middle at this point, you know?
There's nothing wrong with paying off that house, putting a line of credit against it for emergency money.
And I'll have that money to be able to jump into stock or crypto or a deal or whatever, right?
Right.
But not having that monthly bill every month, you know?
Right. So yeah, exactly. So then you're free to do what you want to do, and if you need it, you have it, and if you don't need it, you don't. You using your house as a credit card if you have to. And there's nothing wrong with that strategy. A lot of people will pay off rentals and pay off personal properties, get lines of credit against them, and use that to pull money out for down payments on properties and refinance them with banks or private lenders. And there's nothing wrong with that strategy. It puts you in a position of power, and that's really what we're trying to do, is get in a position of power.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, then there's nothing wrong with if the shit hits the fan today, in 2008 happens again. Again, I'm going to disclaim, I don't think it will, but it happens again. If your stuff's paid off, your personal stays paid off, you could lose everything else, and you and your wife are taken care of.
Yeah, and I don't even know that approach quite yet, you know, in terms of how I would shield that, in terms of putting together some sort of trust or whatever. But there's a way, and I know that there's people that I can reach out to that can help me do that. But yeah, you know, that's the thing. I mean, really, again, what does it all come back to, guys? Why do we work? Why do we trade all of this time for money? I think that most people have the goal of financial freedom, and that's the start by all means. But the real goal is time freedom. That's the real goal. I'm reading, or I shouldn't say I'm reading. I'm listening to The Road Less Stupid. Have you guys listened to that book or read that book yet?
I
Just
haven't.
started it. It was I'm about 2 or 3 hours in. It was a recommendation from some of our brothers over at the Multipliers, and it's really, really good book. But it basically, you know, it talks about just not making stupid decisions and think things through. And one of the things he asks in the very beginning of the book, guys, is if you could unwind or redo the 3 worst financial decisions that you've ever made in your life, how would your current state look? You know, and the author's like, I'd have tens of millions of dollars more than I have now from those stupid financial decisions. And basically, and again, I'm not all the way through yet, but one of the things that he talks about is, you know, it's not always about making more money. It's about keeping the money you got and not being stupid and foolish with it, not making stupid and foolish decisions to squander it, you know? So it's pretty interesting. I'll fill you guys in on what I learned more about it for sure.
Love it. Well, good. Well, we're at the 32 here. I don't know if you want to hit any questions or anything. I don't know if we have any.
Yeah, I got to run in about 10 minutes, guys. So let's see what we got over here on the screen. Kate says, I'm just part of Don's support team, and the people in the inner circle elite, as well as the coaching program, already feel like family. I agree, Kate. Everybody in that group is amazing. And that's the purpose, is to feel like family and to have a place to go and share your wins, but also have a place to go and talk about your struggles at the same time. So can't agree more. Matt says, people saying I close 50 deals a month, then I talk to high performers people doing, you know, 6 is a lot of deals. 6 is a lot of deals. 50 is a lot of deals. I think it really matters on what kind of deals people are doing too, Matt. You know, if you're just doing little tiny $15,000 purchases and selling them for $17,000 and making $2,000, yeah, you got to do 50 of those to have a good month, right? But if you do one deal that makes you 60 or 80, or in Don's case, 100,000, do you need to do 50 deals a month? Like, I don't know. That's one of the things that I've matured on over the years.
Yeah, me too. And let's put it in perspective. Anybody out there saying they're doing 20, 30, 40, 50 deals a month, they are not all high performing deals. Some of them are dogs. I guarantee you, some of them are break evens. Some of them,
I've been there. I've been the guy, Don.
Yeah.
It's not 10, 12 deals a month, but you only make 20 or 30 grand. Like, what's the point? You can do one deal and make that.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, when I started, that was the number, right? How do I do 10 plus a month? And it sounds better. And then I was like, this is silly. Why not do 4 or 5 and make double what 10 would do?
Being more intentional about what you do. And then the infrastructure you have to do 50 deals a month. The infrastructure you have to have in place, the cost of marketing, the cost of data, the team you have to put in place, you're burning a lot of the capital you're bringing in just to support that volume. And there's a lot of people out there doing a very, very high volume that aren't making any real money, aren't making much more than the person doing 3 or 4 or 5. So the numbers sound sexy. The net's what's important, like we talked about earlier, and all of us have seen it 100 times. You know, and I've been there. Dave's been there. I'm sure Gavin's been there, where we've done more than we needed to be doing. And
yeah, 100%, man. I mean, at my peak, we were doing 10, 12, maybe a good month, we'd have 15 deals. I don't ever want to go back to that. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't ever want to go back to that, because the overhead, as you just mentioned, Don, is going to go up with every new system, every new process, every new employee, every new virtual assistant. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, you got yourself 20, 30, 40 grand a month in expenses. And if you do, you know, 80 to 100 grand a month, great, you're doing great. But what happens when you get slow and you don't even make your minimum? Well, now you're coming out of pocket and it's high stress, and you're having to manage more systems and processes and people. And I think that there's a happy medium that you can find.
Let's put it in perspective. My payroll at one point was 40 grand a month before commissions.
Before commissions.
Before commissions. And that particular year, I spent almost $600,000 in marketing. So you're talking $1 million between payroll and marketing before any commissions, any rent, anything else. But that was my cost to do business before anything else, was just payroll and marketing. So
that's a lot of money, man.
Yeah. So I just without phones and internet and office and gas and anything else, just payroll and marketing, I had to make $1 million to break even.
Yeah, it's insane. Like I
Yeah, I
just,
mean, really more than that if you include taxes and whatnot. But
yeah,
I guess
that's what I'm saying.
You paid the taxes later.
yeah,
You know,
I
but
can't.
still,
I just couldn't.
I know, man. I wasn't ever that high. I think our highest was maybe 25 or 30 grand a month, and that included the marketing. That wasn't an extra million on top for the marketing, which is just crazy. But what do you guys spend a month on your marketing now, if you don't mind me asking? Mine's low. I'll start. I think we probably spend, if you include the VAs and the cold callers and all the systems, we're probably somewhere around 7 grand a month. It's pretty light.
Yeah, I'm probably between, for the VAs, not the team, right? Just the VAs and the marketing. You say?
Yeah, because I consider the VAs part of the marketing. Really, they're
Depending
the ones.
on, for sure. I mean, I'm probably between 5 and 8, depending on what
About
I'm
the
doing.
same. Yeah, it fluctuates, of course. Yeah, Don, you're probably triple that.
No,
right now, I'm not pacing much higher than that. It just depends on what I'm doing. And if I'm doubling down on direct mail on that particular month,
for sure, yeah,
I'm gonna be double triple that easily. But there are months where I'll take the foot off the gas on kind of go heavy on the cold calling, and then I fall back down into around the $10,000 range.
Yeah,
nice. I love it. Well, guys, I got a couple more minutes before I got to bounce out.
we're gonna roll as well
here. Let's see. Matt says, I tried to do a HELOC and banks didn't seem to do them at the moment. Got told I could cash out refi, but needed 2 years of job history. Is there a way to get equity out if needed of your rentals? Yes, absolutely. My response to that would be go talk to different banks, because banks have different appetites for lending in different seasons, right? So go talk to your local banks, go talk to your local credit unions. And if you get told by 1 or 2 of these guys, so what? Go talk to 10 more. I have almost 100 rental units and I still get told no.
You shared something. I don't want to cut you off, but I got to say this. You shared something that was very, very powerful, and it was probably on one of these calls. I don't remember where you shared it, but go sit down. If the bank tells you no, sit down with them and say, okay, what do I need to do for you to do it? Like what do I need to have in place? What do you need to see?
Your coach, and you don't even have to pay them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Love that. Yeah. So if they say no, Matt, and I'm talking to Matt because that was his question here. Don, you're exactly right. But if they tell you no, then ask them why, and then tell them or ask them, what do you need to do to change in your life or in your business or in your finances or on your spreadsheets or whatever to be able to get their business. 100%.
And what Dave, when you said that originally, you didn't hit on it, but I want to hit on this. That's opening a door to creating a relationship. That banker is going to see this is somebody that cares and this is somebody that wants to learn. And if you check in with that banker on a regular basis and you say, hey, I'm making progress, I got this done and that done, am I missing anything? And you turn that into a relationship, especially if that's a bank you're doing business with on a regular basis, where deposits and whatnot, that person is going to know, like, and trust you, and they're going to end up making exceptions down the road that they probably would not do for somebody that they did not know, if that makes sense. And by exceptions, 100%. I don't mean bending rules, but I mean by taking an extra look or a deeper look at you that they may not have taken to give you an opportunity.
100%. Let me add on that too, guys. One of my talents or skills or superpowers is empathy. And it's the ability to put myself into other people's shoes. And it's not just here and there. It's with anybody and everybody. I'm checking into a hotel. I'm trying to think, how is this person feeling? Whatever. Same thing with these bankers, right? The reason I'm even bringing this up is the appearance of being organized matters. So put yourself in the banker's shoes. If you walk into a bank and you say, hey, I'm looking to, get a loan to buy a house, or I got these rentals that I want to refinance or cash out or get an equity line or whatever the thing is, right? and you go in there and you say, yeah, I got all my stuff in this shoebox. The receipts are in here, and I think we can figure this out. That banker is going to be like, sorry, no thank you, right? But if you walk in there and you have your rent roll, assuming you got rentals, you got your personal financial statement filled out, you have, a profit and loss, assuming you have a business already for last year or maybe current, you have a balance sheet, you are organized. And you present that to the banker. Put yourself in the banker's shoes. Would you want to do business with you?
Yeah, important.
Yeah,
That's huge.
Simple.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
All right, gentlemen. Well, I think I know you guys got to go. We're all on the road, so I think that's a good show for today. Let's try next week to actually talk about closing techniques.
Oh no, this was good though. Today was good. Absolutely. Awesome, guys. Well,
awesome.
Signing off. Love you guys. Talk to you next week. And if you guys get a wild hair and you want to come skiing in Beaver Creek, hit me up.
All right, buddy.
All right, guys. See ya.
Have a good one. Bye.